Andrew, big news on the economic front. Unemployment up, and maybe it's giving the RBA a bit of room to move here, because it looks like those rate hikes well and truly showing up in terms of these numbers.
Plenty happening today, Kieran, and good afternoon to you and viewers. Unemployment is up from 3.5% to 3.7%, a day after wages figures came out showing they are also up. The budget did predict a slowdown, which leads to higher unemployment, but the greatest economic fear over the next year surely has to be stagflation, high unemployment and high inflation. Now, we're a long way from that at the moment, but the hope would be if unemployment does go up, inflation comes down. Here was the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, a short time ago, speaking in Perth on the unemployment figures, still showing some optimism about the state of the Australian economy.
We have expected for some time that the unemployment rate will tick up a bit as a consequence of higher interest rates combined with some pretty serious global uncertainty, and that's what we're seeing in these unemployment numbers today. But it is still pretty remarkable that we enter this period of substantial global uncertainty with unemployment with a 3 in front of it.
Well, as we revealed several weeks ago, a former TWU official, Adam Hatcher, was appointed by the government to the Fair Work Commission President's job, with Workplace Relations Minister Tony Burke arguing that it was his intention to appoint someone with an employee rather than an employer's perspective to head the commission as the government sought to lift workers' wages. But yesterday, that President, Mr Hatcher, gave a warning that increasing wages too far could see the Reserve Bank raise interest rates even further and therefore be counterproductive. The Australian newspaper reported Mr Hatcher questioning at the Commission yesterday ahead of a decision on the minimum wage, quote, "Is the risk that a perceived high figure emanating from this review might encourage or cause the Reserve Bank to hike interest rates again and for some households leave them worse off than when they began?" Reading the tea leaves, he goes on, the Reserve Bank seems to be telling us that the increase should be the top of the inflation target band, 3%, plus long-run productivity growth of about 1%. That comes to about 4%. Well, whether their analysis is correct, it's the effect it might have upon the interest rate setting mechanism for the next round, he says. Well, no one is arguing, given where inflation is at, for no lift in wages in this case, which flows through to higher salaries. But this is what the various groups are calling for. The ACTU wants inflation, a 7% rise. The AI Business Group wants 3.8%. The Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 3.5%. The National Retail Association, just 3.25%. And the submission from the federal government says, "We recommend the Fair Work Commission ensures the real wages of Australia's low-paid workers do not go backwards." Interesting they don't put a figure on it, but surely that also means a 7% annual rise. Now, the government continues to maintain such a wage rise would not have an effect on inflation. Treasurer Jim Chalmers was asked about this in Perth a short time ago and defended the government's approach on wages.
When it comes to the cost of living pressures in our economy, decent wages growth is part of the solution, not part of the problem. Now, we've got an inflation problem in our economy because Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine and we've got busted supply chains here at home. Overwhelmingly, that's why we've got inflation in our economy. We don't have inflation because the lowest paid Australians are earning too much.